Before and after the GTA 6 trailer, I started noticing many people complain about the fact to be woke or too politically correct, and I remain surprised by that because, of course, you know how GTA is made and how much it relies on making fun of every possible category existing, and I began to ask myself what the problem could be. There are many people complaining about the protagonist, one protagonist in particular. So about Lucia, I state from the start that I don't have any problem with a female protagonist. It could give a different view of GTA, a new perspective that never appeared before, so I don't really see why people are complaining about it. In some way I understand, but I don't agree with them. Many people say they want to, when they play GTA, they want to identify themselves in the protagonists, which is something I totally disagree about. The main reason is I don't identify myself with those characters. I mean, they are criminals, they are pieces of crap. I don't want to be them, I don't want to be like them in real life. I don't want to shoot people and run over people with the car. I mean, I think it's quite simple. One thing I can do, and in that sense I might see why some people might have issues with it, is that I can sympathize with those characters, but it's different because, for example, if I play as Arthur Morgan, I understand his story, and of course I also in some way feel sorry for him. In some way I see him as a terrible person, and of course, since I am a human being and humans are empathetic, at least most of them, I understand how he feels and for example his fears, but I don't identify myself with him because I didn't live his life. I don't want to do what he does. Unless he's a criminal, no one would want to be like Arthur Morgan, for example, or Michael DeSanta, or whatever you want. So the fact of having Lucia as a protagonist, I really don't have a problem with it because she's not an alien, she's a human being, so I can sympathize with her. I mean, you don't have to be in the same situation as another person to understand how they feel. So what's the problem? What should all the women that play the GTA, what should they said, for example? They played it and they enjoyed it, even though they had to control a male protagonist, and that's it. Of course it can be a problem if making a female protagonist is an excuse to put some useless woke stuff in the game without any contextualization, because for example, I think that's what Disney did with the recent movies. They just thrown as much woke and politically correct content as they could, and those movies didn't feel real. They felt like they had to make a checklist and say, okay, now we need this, I don't know, we need at least 5 women, check. This is a limit to the artistic side of the product and to the story itself, because then it gets forced and ridiculous. In some way I think this is the same thing that happened with Say the Other, even if not in such a disastrous way as Disney, for example. In modern history, but I think also in ancient history, there were many women that had a typically male role, like pirate captains, for example. The fact of having a female gunslinger in the gang is not the problem itself. The problem is how they treated that character, and I hope they learned from Sadie and they didn't do the same idiocy with Lucia. I really hope to see a character that doesn't have any special treatment just for the fact she's a woman. That's it. And talking about something else, I don't really see a way GTA could be woke or politically correct. GTA is based on making, as I said earlier, making fun of every possible category existing. So for example, above all criminals, but also figures like lifestyle coaches, or for example movie stars, movie producers with GTA 5, and the one that aren't made fun of are nevertheless criticized in some way. For example, Nico, of course, is not seen in the game as a clown, but the game underlines how fake the American dream is, and the life is conducting, how it leads to failure and to misery. Rockstar always liked to see every aspect of Western society, Western modern society, and also old society like the Wild West America, and America in particular, but these social mechanisms are everywhere, and the Western culture started spreading everywhere. So it's a critique to society itself. Because, for example, the LGBTQ community is very large, of course, but there is a minority that is very loud, especially on the web, and it can also be toxic, because, and that's something that can be applied to every kind of group of people. I'm not specifically talking about them, but there are these kind of people that take those premises that are good, and luckily we have them, because if you think about it, gay people not so much time ago, gay people were still kind of stigmatized, and luckily things have changed from there, and before it was even worse. So of course it's important to have these kinds of I say ideas, even though I don't think it's the proper word for that, but anyway, the problem is when these types of concepts, they become blind hatred against even the smallest objection. So in that case it's toxic in some way. If you want to please everyone, every minority, every kind of category of people, you just can do that. You disappoint others, and you make yourself hated by other people, and in some way that's what happened, as I said, for example, with Disney. And I think Rockstar is not so stupid to make the same mistake, and this video is taking a little longer than I expected. Anyway, make me know if you like this kind of more conversational style or not. I'll try to be quick. Another thing I saw is the fact that there's this complaint about the fact that there are many black people and not many Latinos. I don't know enough about this to have a decent opinion, to be honest, and everything I know about Florida is that the stereotype of the white American with the beer in one hand and that kind of I don't even know how it's called, but I think you got the type. As I said in the very beginning, it's way too early to talk about it. We have barely seen just like 0.1% of the whole game, so wait and we'll see. So in conclusion, I am confident that GTA 6 won't be woke or politically correct. It may change in some ways, because the more time passes, the more minorities are took in consideration, and jokes that were socially accepted before, they become criticized or forbidden. For example, the M word, just to name one. So in this way it could change, but I don't think it's a problem. I mean, it's a way to make everyone enjoy it and make everyone comfortable about it. Then it's obvious that you can't please everyone, and that there will always be someone who feels offended by it, but in those cases it's people that probably don't know how GTA is made and don't understand the irony that is behind it. It's getting way too long, so I stop here. Please share your opinion below if you want, and see you next time.